In this video, we're going to show you why we feel the Kodiak steel home is the strongest, the most easiest, common sense type of steel framed home construction in the industry. We're going to point out the features that sets us apart from other steel home companies. We're going to point out these features that will set us apart and let you know what makes a Kodiak home. The key to any successful construction project is the foundation. So make sure that you have a foundation where your piers, your footings, everything is an engineered system done by a qualified engineer that's familiar with your soil types in your area. When you're doing your foundation, you want to make sure that everything is square, that your form boards are correct. Most important is to get your anchor bolts right. Your anchor bolts are a critical key to any construction. If your anchor bolts are in the right place, your pre-engineered steel home will bolt together and you will have a much easier construction job. Placement on reading our anchor bolts is critical, and our drawings are made to where they're common sense, they're easy to read, and get your foundation correctly. Anchor bolts are 3/4 inch anchor bolts. Your engineer will determine the depth of them. They're cast in place, so they're embedded into the foundation, and that holds your house down, not up. Spend the money to save money and to have a great foundation. That is the key to any good job. When your new Kodiak steel home arrives, it's going to arrive on an 18-wheeler with a 48-foot flatbed. Be sure you have enough room for the truck to come to your job site where it can get in and out without any problems. Most of the time you will have 1 or 2 trucks delivering your new Kodiak home depending on the size of the home and the model. A major thing is get the right equipment to unload your new home and to erect your home. We recommend that you use a SkyTrack, a boom truck, or a forklift while you're unloading. Inventory each piece as it comes off the truck. Everything on the truck is easily identified. The steel is stenciled with the part number. It tells how long it is, what size. Kodiak will give you a bill of material in advance so you can be studying it with your construction drawings. When your truck comes, simply take your bill of material list, and as you unload each piece of steel, simply check that piece of steel off that I received it. Once again, that steel is stenciled with the correct part number, and it's very easily to identify. When you unload your steel, to save time on your erection, lay out the steel the way it's going up in your home. By doing this, it's going to save time and money on equipment and your erection time, so your new house will go up smooth and easy. As you can see, using this SkyTrack to lift the heavy steel columns, it makes it easy. They're going to bolt down onto the anchor bolt. You're going to tighten that 3/4 inch nut down with that hot rod I-beam column. You're going to have a good, snug, easy connection. When you put your steel columns down, you're not tightening them down all the way yet. Once you get your steel in the air and plumb, then you can tighten everything down. You're going to set your columns up. You're going to put your horizontal members in, which we call our girts. All of that is a bolted connection. As you can notice, the most useful tool that the steel erectors have is what they call their spud wrench. That spud wrench is going to help them go into the hose. It'll hold it in place so they can get their bolts and nuts into the connections. When you're putting on our eave extension columns, that's a 2.5 by 2.5 square tube column. It is a heavy duty 18-inch extension on our columns that is a unique feature of the Kodiak steel home. When you're laying out your rafters, Put your rafters together on the ground, bolt your peak connections up, get them good and snug and tight. Then you're going to be able to lift these rafters up into place. Your columns are already standing. The columns are tied together at the top with the girts that go around the new home. Simply lift your rafter up and you will bolt them in to each column on each side. You're going to have folks on each side doing this bolted connection. Always think safety first. Follow the OSHA guidelines and always look up. As you can see, you're lifting your rafter straight up. It's going to come into line with the columns. You can see where these bolts line up. He's going to take his spud wrench in there, put it into the column, make that first connection. The gentleman on the other side is doing the same thing. We've got our rafters connected to our columns. We're going to start putting in our in-wall columns on the end of the home. That's a bolt-up connection. With an engineered house like this, where everything is a bolt-together system, it will bolt together, and this is a structural red iron package that is unique to Kodiak Steel Homes. As you'll see that a lot of the steel can be lifted by hand with ladders. All your clips are welded on, so it's a simple bolt-together connection using a spud wrench and then dropping your bolts in, tightening them up with the nuts. Installing the roof purlins, you're going to start on your interior bay, put all your roof purlin bolts in. That's an A307 bolt. You can see where all the purlins have an identification numbers stamped into the purlins. Note that the purlins go on the downhill side of the clip, not on the uphill side. Once all the purlins and stuff are installed, you're going to be putting in your cable bracing. Cable bracing is cut to length cables. They're already formed up for you, hillside washers. That's going to help you plumb this steel up. You can see here where the guys are installing the track on the inside of our ceiling system. That's going to be our cathedral ceiling in this South Ridge model. Here you can see where they're drilling in a wedge anchor. These anchors go on 1-foot centers. Kodiak Steel Homes provides these anchors. These anchors are very important on 1-foot centers. That way it's going to take the wind and your walls aren't going to blow out. If you notice that the columns also have 2 or a 4-bolt anchor bolt connection on all these columns with a 3/4 inch bolt into your foundation. Don't forget to put a sealant under that track to seal everything up from coming inside the house. That's very important. All your steel studs keep level. The gentleman using the 4-foot level, that's his best friend. If you'll use that level and level all your steel up, all your studs up, the studs are on a 16-inch centers, you're going to have a very true plumbed home. So 90-degree angles to work with. Your sheetrock folks will like it, and your trim folks. All your framed openings for your windows and doors, your entry doors, are all 18-gauge 6-inch material. As you can see, all the hose are in the studs, so your electrical, your plumbing can go through these hoses. As in any construction, we're utilizing a chop saw. Same as with a wood saw, it's a different blade. The metal cutting blade cuts the steel studs, they cut the strapping. Same as a chop saw with a wood cutting blade cutting a 2x4 or 2x6. When you're looking at the bracing on our homes, we have the cross bracing on the inside and outside. It can go between the framed openings. With this system, you can put what size doors, what size windows you want with it. Brace between the windows with the bracing that we give with the kit. As you can see, you've got good straight lines. You're utilizing a structural red iron system with exterior galvanized studs. This is truly, I feel, a very strong home and an easy to build home. All these exterior studs are cut to length. Only studs you're going to cut on the exterior are whatever size windows you put in. Notice that we have the bracing on all the walls, which is simply strap bracing, and this makes for a super strong home that will last for generations after generations. There is not a stronger steel home on the market than the Kodiak steel home. We offer a great steel panel roof system with the Kodiak home, and with all our homes we provide a radiant barrier insulation system. It's called Solar Guard. It's a perforated material on both sides. We provide the double stick tape for the top and the bottom to hold it in place. This insulation and radiant barrier will reflect 97% of the sun's radiant energy from entering your home. What does that do for you? You can go into the attic on a Kodiak steel home with this Solar Guard in the middle of the summer, where in a conventional house you can't. The steel roof panel that we provide with our homes, we provide it in a PBR roof panel or a PBU panel. Both are just different corrugations. That's a purling bearing rib leg on the panels. The paint system that we use is a Kynar 500 paint system. That is the finest paint money can buy on a panel. And you say, why do we use that? When you drive up to that home decades from now, your roof will be looking good. All of our fasteners are a lifetime red rust fastener that goes into that roof. It's a self-drilling fastener with a neoprene washer. This roof is sealed with a butyl tape system on each lap. All your roof panels are on 3-foot centers. Make sure at the eave that everything is square and you don't have a sawtooth edge. This is a very strong roof. This roof system by Kodiak will outperform a shingled roof for decades to come. One important factor is to sweep that roof after construction. When you put the steel screws into the roof, you're going to have shavings on the roof, and you must sweep the shavings off so when moisture hits that steel shavings, they won't rust. Make sure that is done. That's crucial with any kind of steel construction when you're penetrating it. With our steel roof system, this roof has a ventilated ridge where the ridge will vent out the hot air, also under the eaves. If we provide the soffit systems, we have a ventilated soffit system around the entire house. Once again, I feel that the all-steel roof by Kodiak, it will last 2 to 3 times the life of a shingled roof. It's a very good investment on a roof.